Hey, hello everyone. Good, good evening. So let's start today's session. So today, mostly we will discuss about how we will get started with this internship program. Okay, so we already have the orientation program one day back, which where we have discussed about the program, how it is going to be, and what could be the outcome. Okay, and there we have also shared the outline and the link for the Udemy course, right? So have you downloaded it from somewhere, or have you managed to purchase that course? Yes. Okay, so who got access to the course? Type me on the chat box if you have access to the course. All right, great. So if you have downloaded or you have purchased, it doesn't matter. If you have downloaded, then you will not get the certificate. Some people are asking whether if you are downloaded, then you will get the Udemy certificate or not. So that is not a mandatory. So what I said is that, so we are not a business of selling Udemy course of someone else's. Okay, because the link that we have shared, you can see there is no affiliate link or anything like that. I have just seen that course to be, I mean, the content is good. That's why I recommended that course. Okay, and it is up to you. You can also go through with any other Udemy course that some people have already said that someone have some separate Udemy course which talks about the full stack web. Okay, so if you have that kind of content, then it is fine with it. So I have no problem with that. Okay, so I'm not saying just you just have to go through that course only. All right, so you can continue with anything that you have. So all I'm asking is that, see, so let me give a brief introduction for myself. So my name is Abhishek Jana. Okay, so I am a co-founder and a principal engineer at Geogo. So I have joined, so I have total 8 years of experience in this software domain, and I have joined and co-founded Geogo in the year 2016. So from that time, we have developed many applications. Okay, so mostly we work on Ruby on Rails, Node.js, React.js, AngularJS, and then we also work on hybrid platforms like Ionic or React Native or Flutter. Okay, so during this period, we have seen that uh, so people who are joining our team, okay, so the kind of knowledge they are bringing from the college is not sufficient to work at a small startup like ours, because it see, in a small team like ours, you need to be very skilled person. Means say it is possible that you may have to handle a project single-handedly. All right, so in that case, so it takes around 4 to 6 months of time to train a fresher, then they becomes workable in live projects and all. All right, so that's why we had this internship program in background. So we run this program in our internal purposes. Then on August we thought, so why not, why whatever process that we are doing, so why not we do it in more larger scale. All right, so the first batch that we ran on the August 2021, there we have received, I think, 1500 plus applications. From there, we have shortlisted 100 plus interns. Okay, so they joined and they did the internship for the last 2 months. They did, and they have submitted the project. They have, some of them have done some outstanding work. So we are very surprised to see that people from colleges say they are from third year and fourth year, they are doing such a work. Okay, and I'm sure the people that you have, so as you have joined here in this session, and some of you, maybe all of you, would be able to achieve some sort of that kind of level, because the knowledge that you will get from these courses that I have shared, so you will be, I will teach you how you can apply that knowledge and build something meaningful. Okay, say which you can put it live on web, and you can showcase in some meet in an interview. Okay, or you can how to make your presence better on the social media like LinkedIn, because see, most of the jobs are on the LinkedIn, right now. So people are posting their updates. Okay, so whatever they are doing, they're sharing their updates on LinkedIn, right? So people who have a good GitHub profile. They are sharing they are sharing their contributions in the LinkedIn, right? So from there, the recruiters are finding, yes, so this person knows this concept very well, then they are connecting with them. So this is how this whole thing is working. So the whole scenario is now changing. Means you have to promote yourself. Otherwise, no one will be able to do that. So if you only rely on the college, these full campus drives and all, okay. So if you rely on that part, say when TPO will give me job, then we will go for it. No, you have to be proactively. You have to do it. All right. So this is something which we will discuss in these 2 months of session. Okay, and yes, and in this session, these 2 months, we will also have 2 career counseling sessions. Okay, so so some of our industry experts, they will join, and they will. So if you have any question, then you can ask in that forum. Okay, so I would allow you. Sorry, is there anything? So yes. So is the audio is clear? My
Yes,
team is
sir.
saying that it is some issue is there. Is LNC?
No, sir, it is clear.
Okay, great. Uh, so that is the whole goal of this whole internship program. So this time only, so we have received 2000 plus applications. Okay, and we have shortlisted. Say last time we did 100. Say if it is the internet, then we can, I think. So my team said we can expand it to 200, 300. Then later we discussed and found that no, we will extend the bar till 500. Okay, I know this is going to be a tedious job for some of our coaches, because single-handedly they have to review 80 applications. Means the code that you submit, the applications you will build, they have to review, okay, along with me. So the task is huge in our end. Okay, that is why I am asking all of you to give you 110% in this program for the next 2 months. So are you committed? So please let me know on the chat if you are committed. Yes. So I will take you through the journey. So, but you have to share your part also, right? So I am 200% committed to this program. So for the next 2 months, I'll be with you. I'll be resolving everyone's query. Okay. But you have to, means if you show enthusiasm, then only I will get that energy to deliver. Right? Yes. Please keep yourself on mute. Yes. All right, so let's not waste much time. Let's start the session, which we will discuss. That is about the web tech, right? So just a minute. Let me, is my screen is visible, right? Okay, great. So we will start. So web tech, as it is an introduction to web technology. So we will start from the very beginning. That is operating system. This is a very important part. So who is using which operating system? Please let me know on the chat. If you are using Windows, if you are using Linux, which operating system you are using right now. Okay, Mac is fine, because that is, I can say it is based on Unix. So it is quite similar to, say, Linux. Okay, lot of Windows. Okay, lot of responses from you guys. Great. So Windows, Ubuntu, people who are doing Ubuntu, thumbs up to them. And yes, Kali Linux. Okay, great. Some of you have dual boots. Okay, that is fine. So I am asking all of you. So as you are starting your journey, means maybe this year you are starting, or maybe you will start next year, right? So whenever you will go to industry, so whenever you will join some company, okay, so they are mostly all of the servers. See, so do you know the percentage of servers running on Linux? Anyone knows? Anyone knows? To say you are using Google, you are using Facebook, the applications. Okay, so percentage of applications running on Linux? Yes, I think some of you have answered correct. It is more than 95%. Okay, so 95% of applications are running on Linux based servers. Mostly it is Ubuntu, or it is RHEL, means Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or it is CentOS. Okay, and in some cases, in case of AWS, it is some their custom distribution they are using. So that is why I am asking all of you to go and install Linux in your system. It can be anything. It can be Fedora, it can be Red Hat, it can be Ubuntu itself. So Ubuntu is a one that I found it is more user friendly, you can say, and you will get more support online if you face any issue. All right, so this is a request from my end. Please go and download Linux distribution. Recommended one is Ubuntu, and install it in your system and learn about Linux more. So how the command line tools, how the terminal works. Okay, so that is a very important thing, because whenever you will deploy your applications in servers, in production servers, there you have to know, you have to have the knowledge of Linux commands. See how to create a file, how to copy a file, how to log into SSH console. Okay, and then how you can look, how you can open a piece of code in vim editor there, how you can edit those codes. Okay, so those things to get used to with Linux. Okay, so where to learn Linux commands, so I will give you the guidelines, so don't worry about that. Okay, so are you interested to join the Linux community? Yes. So go and try it once. Maybe initially you will feel that it is, oh, this it is not like Windows. So there is nothing called, see, I will install a software by only few clicks. No, it is not like that. So maybe you have to open a terminal and you have to install certain software. But doing it there in the terminal gives you the absolute power which you can use. Means in Windows, so if your the application installer crashes, then there is nothing that you can do. But here in Linux, as you are doing the raw coding, or you are executing raw codes in the terminal, there you can define the versions, the dependencies that that application may have. So you can define everything there. All right, so it is a request from my end that you at least use Linux. All right, so let's go forward. Okay, so here I have listed, it is a very fun slide. So here I have listed the devices that are running on Linux. So as you see, as you know, the supercomputers are running on Linux. Okay, so the cars that are the self-driving cars, they are running on Linux, like Tesla. Okay, so the servers that we are where the applications like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is deployed, those are running on Linux. Okay, so the, as you know, the Android is based on what? Android is based on what, guys? Yes. So Android is also based on Linux. All right. This Android we are using every day. All right. So this is it. The smart watches we are wearing to our smart TVs. So everything is running on Linux. So that is why I am asking all of you to go and try it out it once. All right, so here is a little bit of history. So in history of Linux, so in 1969, Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, they have developed the Unix at AT&T Bell's Lab. Okay, and in 1970, when the proprietary software, they dominated the software landscape, then AT&T started selling these Unix commercially. Okay, and in later 80s, many companies, they started developing their own version of Linux. Okay, and then in late 1980s, this is a very I would say it is a remarkable, I mean, you can say event that happened in 1980s. That is GNU project came into existence. So anyone knows what is the full form of GNU? Anyone knows what is the full form of GNU? Yes, GNU is not Unix. Okay, so you can see GNU's full form itself contains the GNU. So it's something, it's called palindrome or what? I don't know. So it is saying GNU is not Unix, means they, yeah. So it came to existence to give us a free operating system. All right. So then later in 1991, Linus Torvalds, so he designed the first version of Linux as his college project. All right. So can you imagine? So someone develops a Linux kernel, so the operating system kernel in his college project. Means I could not have imagined in my college days. Okay. So What are the popular distributions? As I have already mentioned, that is Red Hat is a commercial one. So it is mostly used in workstations. All right. So, and then later Fedora is there. Fedora also comes from the Red Hat family. So there are two types of families in Linux. So one is Red Hat family, another is the Debian family. So Fedora, Red Hat, CentOS, they all comes from the Red Hat family, RHEL family. Okay, and the distributions like Linux Mint, Ubuntu, Debian, OpenSUSE, they comes from the Debian family. So there are two major families. Okay, so as I said, Ubuntu comes from the Debian family. So, and it is very popular among the developers. All right. So here are the few basic Linux commands. I think some of you, if you are familiar with Linux, then you will find it, you will get it, what does that mean. But if you are not, then don't sweat about it. So I will give you a very good YouTube video. So not only I am recommending Udemy, but also I am recommending few very good YouTube videos which you can go through to learn more about Linux. All right. So anyone knows what is ls for? What this ls commands does in Linux? Yes, it lists all files. So pwd is for present, no, not password. It is for present working directory, the kind of the working directory you are currently in. Okay. Cd is for we know it is for changing directory. Clear is for clearing the terminal. Cat is for, anyone knows what is cat? No, not concatenation. No. Yes, cat shows the content of a file. Okay, cp, we know cp is for copying, and mv is for moving a file, mkdir is for creating directory, and rm is for removing some file, and chown is, anyone knows what is chown? Anyone knows what is chown stands for? Yes, changing ownership. So ownership is a very, so in Linux, whenever you will start working on it, there you will find there are several permissions like read permissions, write permissions. So how to change the permissions? There is a very interesting formula which you can use, and you can assign things permissions to files, to their directories, to their subdirectories and all. So this is a very powerful command which you will learn whenever I will give you the video to learn the Linux commands, right? So next thing is Git. Git is a very important tool. So who has used Git previously? Okay, okay, lot of you have used Git. Okay, and this is a very common. So why we use Git? What is it? What is Git? Not yet. Not yet, then it is fine. We'll learn. Okay, so Git is for version control. So say so you and your friend of one of your friend is working on a single project. Okay, and you are working in a collaborative way. Say you are designing a feature like a login screen, and your friend is working on sign up screen. Okay, so how you collaborate with each other? So how you keep separate
ഞാൻ
because
പോയില്ല അങ്ങോട്ട്.
the kind of changes that you have, how you will send those changes to your. Mm. Please, Ashish, would you please mute yourself? Yes. So how you will send those changes to your friend's profile, a friend's computer? In that case, we use Git. So Git is for version control. Yes.
Yeah, then join
Please. Hello. Please mute yourself. Okay. So next we will move forward to okay, for Git I will give you another video on YouTube which you can have the understanding of what are the Git commands. So how you can initialize a new Git repository, how you can add a new file, how you can commit a new file, what happens in background when you push a code to the remote repository, what happens in the local repository. Okay, for that I have a very good and informative video which I will share with all of you. All right. So next comes is what is our topic today? That is web tech. Okay. So web tech is all about what is web technology? So web technologies refers to the way the devices, the systems, the computers are communicating with each other. Like we are wearing, I'm wearing a smartwatch. Okay. So how that smartwatch is communicating, it is updating the notifications from a mobile phone. Okay. Or how it is communicating to some sort of server to fetch the weather information. Okay. So how this smartwatch is communicating with some sort of piece of computer. Okay. And it is sharing some sort of information, right? So it is a communication that is happening between two devices. So that is something which is considered as web tech. All right. So how different devices or computers are communicating with each other using some certain protocols, like it can use HTTPS, it can use SMTP for mail, it can use FTP for file transfer. All right. So it can also use WebSocket. Okay. So it is means communication between different devices. All right. So here is a timeline that I picked up somewhere. So I've represented it here. So here I will share you this slide. You can see it. There is nothing new. So the important event starts from 1990 when Tim Berners-Lee he invented HTML. So what is HTML, guys? Why we need HTML? If you have used HTML previously, why we need HTML? What HTML does? Okay, it is creating. Okay, it gives us a structure. So I would not say it's a design, it's the skeleton. Yes, it is the correct answer. It's a skeleton of a web page. Okay, and right now in 2021, 4 billion internet users are around the globe. All right. So this is another similar kind of information which I have mentioned here. So one for the first thing is that how transformation is happening. So in web 1.0, so right now we are in kind of a web 3.0 situation, but what people are talking about web 3.0 very nowadays they are talking more about web 3.0. But let's understand, say, what is web 1.0. In web 1.0, which was there in previous before the 2004, the information that was available on the internet, it was mostly read only. Means you can say it's a website like a Wikipedia. So where you can go, you can read some information, but you cannot interact with it. Like you cannot go and interact, say submit some form or anything like that on your Wikipedia. Okay. Then after that, web 2.0 came into picture in 2004, and it was there in still 2016. Means it then the web become writable. Okay, means you can communicate, you can interact with the information that is available on the internet. Okay, so now the communication has become bidirectional. Means server can push some information or send some information, and the end user can communicate with the information or interact with the information. Like you have shared your photo on Facebook, and your friends are liking on it. Like, so it is a bi-directional communication that is happening, like a blog, social network, or e-commerce website, from where you are say from Flipkart you are buying a nice pair of shoes, right? So it is a writable web. So now after 2016, the web 3.0 comes into the picture. So what is the difference between web 2.0 and 3.0? If you ask me, say in web 2.0, most of the data are centralized in some sort of servers. Like say Facebook has a very huge data center in US. Okay, similarly, Google has data centers across the globe. Even Facebook has data centers across the globe. So all of this data is there. So they have large computers and these huge amount of hard drive storage, and where they are storing all of the data. Means the data are centralized in some sort of a location. Okay, that is something web 2.0. So I say if some earthquake happens and God knows if or tsunami comes and the data center gets flooded, then you will not say see Facebook in existence. The next day the blackout will happen for Facebook. Okay, but the thing is that the web 3.0 is a core concept, is a decentralized web. Means it is not something which is present in some one single at one single location, okay, or it is not under the control of a one single company, okay. So it is more of a distributed part. So like anyone knows the example what is of distributed web? Have you heard of blockchain or Bitcoin? Right, Bitcoin, everyone have heard, right? Yes. So that is some, the blockchain is something which decentralizes this data. I mean, it is not in some people's or some companies server that all information is there. Okay, so it is now in a decentralized format. So people see nowadays people are doing the mining, right? Bitcoin mining, have you heard? Right? So this is something that anyone can do, right? You can also do Bitcoin mining. You can have your own setup and you can mine Bitcoin. So that means now you have some sort of information, or you are taking part in the whole Web 3.0. Okay, so this is another very big topic. So I will not take much time discussing that part because I will get distracted otherwise. Because this is something which I can give a talk for an hour also. Okay, fine. So I will skip that part. I will move forward to the next thing. All right. Okay, so this is a few basic concepts like what is internet and what is World Wide Web. So internet is something you already know. It's a massive network of networks, like that is connecting millions and billions of devices or computers with together. Okay, so it uses some certain communication protocols like HTTP, SMTP, FTP, okay, or WebSocket or Telnet. Okay, and it helps devices to communicate with each other. Okay, and the World Wide Web, or WWW, that we call, is a system of interlinked hypertext documents and programs that can be accessed via internet, primarily using HTTP, like the websites we see normally nowadays. Okay, so important terms in web tech: website, we all know. Website, web page, HTML, web server, web browser, we already have. URL protocol, IP address, HTTP, XML, gateway, API. So these are the few common terms that we use normally in web tech. All right. So this is a fundamental picture of how web works. Okay, so how web works: say in a browser, say you are visiting one application, say mystore.com. So you are sending one request. Now say when you are typing www.mystore.com and hitting enter on the browser, then the request is going to a DNS server. DNS server is something which is a address book of websites. So see you have seen a telephone directory. Say in the contacts, you have a contacts application in your mobile phone, right? Say for a person's name, a number is assigned. Similarly, for a domain name, a specific IP address is assigned. Okay, that IP addresses leads to a server. Okay, so where this mystore.com application is running. So someone has written this application in Node.js, or it may be possible that someone has written it in Java, or it is in PHP. So then that server processes that request and responds back to the browser. Okay, and the content shows up in the browser. This is how the web works. Like anyone has any confusion here in this diagram? It is crystal clear, right? It's a pretty simple concept. Okay. Okay, great. So the clients can be the typical internet connected devices, like it can be computer or your Wi-Fi or your mobile phone. And servers are here. I have written it here down. Servers are large computers that store these web pages or applications or sites. And when a client device wants to connect those resource or access that resource, then that resource get downloaded in the browser of the client's browser, and it shows the information. All right, so someone is asking, the multiple sites can have same IP address. Yes, multiple site can have same IP address, but you have to run that application in separate port. Okay, so we can have a concept of port, right? So say we have a 3000 series of port, say we have a 8000 series of port. So you can say you can have one, you can own one server, you can run 10 different applications or website from there. All right. So here I have said what is the differences between the static and the dynamic pages. Okay, so static pages shows the information which can be viewed. So like you have, say you have you ever built your resume on using HTML CSS? If you know, if you have a prior knowledge of HTML, that's what I'm asking. So have you designed your resume? I think most of you have done it, right? All right. So that nobody can interact with that page, right? That means say if you have deployed that resume somewhere in on the live web, say you have deployed in GitHub pages. Okay, so from there no one can interact with your page, right? So that is something which is, you can say it is a static page. All right. And what is dynamic page? Say in that resume, if you have built a contact form which takes some input from, if someone wants to contact, say a recruiter wants to contact with you, and there in that contact form here they are filling some sort of information. So you have a 3 or 4 fields which they are submitting, and on submission you are sending a mail to your email account. So if you have that kind of interaction, then you can say that page is a dynamic page. Or so you have certain information, say like you are fetching your GitHub repositories. Okay, say you have a GitHub account. From there you have 10 different repositories, and you are fetching that repositories and you are showing in the portfolio page. Okay, that means some dynamic content is coming to your portfolio or your resume. In that case, that web page becomes dynamic. So normally dynamic web pages are written in server-side languages like the PHP, Ruby, JSP, or it can be on the Node.js as well. Okay, and the information that we see on the browser, mostly they runs on HTML. So HTML is something which is a backbone for all of this. So mostly HTML, CSS, and JavaScript get downloaded to our browser, and our browser is a very intelligent piece of software. Say in your computer, I can say a web browser is a very powerful software that is installed. Okay, it does a lot of work, okay, in the background. So it downloads that code. Okay, whatever code the server sends, it downloads that code to and keeps it, and it parses that code and shows you the result instantly, right? So and a web server is a computer, okay, that say it receives the request from the HTTP clients, and after processing that request, it generates that HTML that the browser would display on the machine, or on the browser. Sorry, the browser would display to the client. Okay, that is what a web server does. Okay, so any computer, as I have said here in third point, any computer, if you have a computer, or if you have a computer, I know you have, so you can turn that computer into a web server by installing some piece of software. Say here, if you are in this course, you will do some sort of a Node.js part. So here, if you would install Node.js in your system, then from there you will be able to run the Node.js server, and your machine would act as a web server, right? So URL stands for I have already mentioned it here. It stands for Uniform Service Locator. Okay, so URL is a formatted string that is used by web browser, and in DNS, against every URL, the domain name or the IP address is set. Okay, so what are the, okay, so here I will talk about the what are the main parts, what are the main 3 parts of a URL. So URL contains, first part is the protocol, okay, like HTTP, FTP. So in which protocol I'm trying to communicate with the web server. Okay, that is the most important part. So first we have to give whether HTTP or HTTPS : /. After that, the host name comes into the picture. Say like you are trying to access the facebook.com, you are trying to access the Gmail, you are trying to access the Instagram, right? After that, after this host name, so the third part, say After host name, you will see the slash continues, right? So after slash say Facebook, then slash the profile. That means it will lead to a profile section. Okay, it calls the resource. So resource or file, okay, which you want to access for that domain. So URL has three part. First part is the protocol. Second part is the host name, and third part is the resource name. Okay, so it follows this format: protocol colon double slash host slash locations that you want to access. All right, so the another thing is that http stands for hypertext transfer protocol. I have already mentioned it here. So it is the, you can say it's a language for web. HTTP is a protocol that is used, okay, that is used for communication between browsers and web servers. Okay, so web pages normally it use HTTP as the protocol name and in the URL as a prefix, okay, which represents, as I have said in the last section, it represents the protocol that we want to access the resource with. Okay, so that was the few basic concepts of web. So web server, what is HTTP, what. So next thing that comes is a web development. So everyone wants, say here, everyone wants to be a web developer, right? Or a full stack web developer, right? Am I correct? Yes. Okay. So web development can be as simple as building your portfolio, or it can be as complex as e-commerce website, or say this is the application that we have. This is a bicycle sharing system. Okay. So that is name is Co-Rides. Okay. So this is a very complex application. You know that Flipkart is developed using React.js, and in background it runs several different servers that is written in Go, Scala, in Ruby, and Node.js as well. Okay, and see, so there are two parts. There are three major web development specialization that you can do. First part is the front-end development. Okay, so who wants to be a front-end developer? Front-end developer only. Who wants to be a front-end developer? Type me on the chat window. Okay, so then you have to learn only this front-end stack like HTML, CSS, JS, and some framework like a React.js or Vue or say Angular or something like that. Okay, so front-end development deals with the stuff that is that people see or people interact with. You use you watch video on YouTube. Okay, the content that you see on YouTube, the how the user experience is getting designed. So that is a part of that is a key role of a front-end developer. So they don't bother about what is there on the back end. So how the YouTube backend will process all the video and how they will send the video. No, your job is to design the UI and UX, user interface, and the user experience, right? That is a job of front-end development. Okay, so next come is the back-end developer. Okay, so people who sits back, so they never comes to the front end, they stays on the back, and they deliver. So they have the responsibility of handling all of the data. Okay, and say if you are a backend developer, so who wants to be a backend developer? Okay, fine, found one only backend developer. Okay, not much interested. Okay, not many have interest in backend. Okay, so the backend you mostly work with languages like Ruby on Rails, or it can be Node.js or anything like that, and you have to work with databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, Redis. If your data is gone, then your job is also gone, right? So the last part is the full stack web development. So who wants to be a full stack web developer? Everyone now wants to be a full stack. So you want to be in charge of everything. Like I want to do backend, I want to do front end, everything. I will design my database, I will design my API, and I will design my UI. Everything I will do single-handedly. Okay, great. So you have a lot of responsibility, right? So with full stack development, if you are opting for that one, then you have the power. And as you have known from the Spider-Man movie, that with power it comes with responsibility, right? So you have to you are taking the responsibility to deliver the whole thing. So if anything happens, if anything goes wrong, people will come to you. Okay, so you have to fix it. So okay, someone has raised a hand. Ankesh, you have any query? Then you can let me know on the chat, so I will answer from there. All right. Okay. So so I will start with HTML. So what is HTML, guys? What is HTML? What is the full form of HTML? Hypertext markup language, right? Yes. So everyone is correct. Hypertext markup language. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you are writing a code that browser would understand, that it will give us a structure of our web page, right? And some of you have already said it is a skeleton. It is nothing but a skeleton. There is no skin to it. Okay. Yes. Yeah. It is a skeleton without design. Okay. Then what is CSS? So in previous screen, you have seen, so here I have a result screen. Say here I have a table, I have a button. But with CSS, it gives us the skin, right? Its skin means the markup. Say we have a skeleton, okay, and we are putting a skin, then it becomes Ash and Pikachu, right? So CSS stands for cascading style sheet. So it gives us the look and feel that people want to see, right? So I think nowadays it is a little bit better. But have you seen the government website 5 years back? Like there is no CSS developer. So there is only the HTML developer, and they only know the skeleton. They just designed it. You have to see it. You see, you find the information. Okay, so nowadays it is a little bit better. Okay, nowadays they are also doing some following some latest design conventions or design patterns. All right. So CSS is all about the skin. And what is JavaScript? JavaScript is something which adds in the intelligence to our web pages. Say in this form, in this web page, please Ujjwal, please would you mute yourself? A lot of noise is coming from your end. All right. So here you can see, I have a print button. Okay. So if someone presses that print button, then that results comes out from the printer. So that is something you're adding some sort of intelligence. Okay. Say that is something that JavaScript does. It gives us the soul, the brain. Yes, soul, mind, everything. Okay. So great. So here I have a screen how modern browsers work, but this is a very complex one. So I will talk about that later on in some other slides. So this is all information or the knowledge that I had to share today. That is all for today's session. So now I have few action items for all of you. Okay. The first, you have to go and install a Linux distribution. So Ubuntu is a preferred one. Second, you have to learn the basic Linux commands. Okay, so I will give a video for that. Then third, what will happen? You have to start with HTML. Okay, basic CSS is something which you can do in your machine this week, or you can skip it for the next week. Then fourth, you have to configure Git in your Linux or whatever you have, OS you have. Then fifth is you have to create a GitHub account. So who have a GitHub account? Okay. Who do not have a GitHub account? Type don't. Who do not have a GitHub account? Okay. So why you are waiting? Is go and create right now. Okay, it's free of cost. Once you will start posting these codes to your GitHub, and you share that progress in the LinkedIn or a platform like that, you will see a lot of people will come to your profile. So your profile's view will increase. All right, your profile's view will shoot up. Okay. And the last thing is that they stay prepared for the weekend assessment. Then that would be a very simple one. So the first task would be to install a Linux. Okay, so Ubuntu is preferred. So you go and download Ubuntu right now. All right, and after downloading Ubuntu, you do one thing. You if you are facing any problem, then you contact your coach. So they are there on the Discord. So keep all communication in the Discord. Keep the mobile application installed in your keep the Discord application installed on your mobile. So that's when you will get more effective notifications. All right, so look, do install Linux, learn the basic commands, start with HTML, set up Git in your system, and create a GitHub account. So these are the few action items which I have for you. So I will share this slide with you in the Discord. So from there you can pick it up. That would not be an issue. All right. So that is it. That is it for today. So how was the session? So I do not want to discuss about the serious topics today because this is the very first initial session. Okay, great. So I can expect all of you in the next session, right? On Monday. Yes. Okay, great. Say, let me record the count. It is 240 plus. So I'll see. So I hope all of you would show up in the next session that is scheduled on Monday, right? Great. So it was nice talking to all of you guys. Thanks for joining the session. Bye-bye.